All right. Next game, Nebraska at Penn State. On FanDuel, Penn State is favored by 8.5. Over under set at 44.5 here. Nebraska most likely starting TJ Leaf. Well, not most likely. They will be starting TJ Leaf again. This one, Penn State comes off their first Big Ten win of the season. Did you watch that po- the po- the press conference this week with Terry Smith?
I saw that he got really emotional
He
with his
did.
first win,
I watched the
which
entire
I
press
think is,
conference. It was pretty touching.
yeah, that dude's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they keep him on staff.
Yeah, they need to keep him on staff as his kind of like recruiter role and stuff like that at the very least.
Yeah,
He has to stay on
yeah,
staff. He's incredible.
yeah. Good
Um
man.
yeah. Yeah. Um Nebraska's still 7-3. I know people are kind of out on them. I know they lost to USC at home, but Dylan Raiola got hurt and they looked better against who did they play after that game? UCLA? Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, UCLA.
It beat UCLA by a touchdown. Yeah, a couple
I
weeks
mean,
ago.
Lateef looked pretty good in that game. I have some concerns for Penn State to spy Lateef because they didn't necessarily spy Nico Iamaleava all that well. But overall, I think this Nebraska team could go into beat the Nittany Lions there despite a 8.5 favored Penn State.
Yeah, that you know, I, I'm considering going to this game because the tickets are so cheap. And I think an underrated thought. So this is a 7 o'clock night game. People might think, oh, it's going to be a whiteout environment. It's not going to be a whiteout environment. A lot of students are
No.
going home for Thanksgiving break. Like, momentum from the fan base is super low. I'm looking at ESPN right now. It says tickets as low as $5. So, like, if you live in Pennsylvania and you want to take your kids to a game and you don't mind sitting in the cold, this is the game. Like, go to this game because it's
Well,
going to
and
be the
and
cheapest
these are
ticket
the
you're going to get.
fans. Yeah, these are the fans to go up against too, right? Nebraska fans are not a bad fan base. It's gonna do all this stuff or anything. If you're gonna
Yeah.
take your kids to a game, this is the one. If you're a Penn State fan,
Yep. Yeah.
you're gonna
Like,
see a good game, most likely. Good respectable
yeah.
fans.
But I say that TJ Lateef's not going to get the full Penn State experience as the Nebraska quarterback. And so that's something to consider. I think the other thing, to your point, is how much has Terry Smith kind of got in Jim Knowles' face to not be stupid? Because, like, that's what's and I know that's the shorthand,
I love that you
not
said it that
technical
way.
at all. Well, but I mean, that's what he does. It's like he is so brilliant that he's stupid sometimes. And it's like, dude, why would you call that call there? Just play your base defense. Don't be blitz happy. Don't play quarters on Jeremiah Smith. What a, shock. Spy the quarterback. And so I hope, like, I think if Terry Smith has kind of gotten in Knowles' face enough and been like, you've got to spy this guy, I think Penn State has the defense to slow down Nebraska. And I do like Grunkenmeyer. I think he's playing well. I think uh I think their receivers, Pena and Ross, are starting to show up a little bit more. Kaytron Allen has been who he's been all year. And I like that Penn State's home, but this is not I think it's going to be tempting to think, well, Nebraska's going into Happy Valley and it's the same Happy Valley. It's not. And that's where I have questions about, can the Penn State environment do enough to shake up Nebraska? And I'm not sure that they can.
Better running back, Emmet Johnson or Kaytron Allen?
Statistically, it's Johnson, but I think talent-wise, it's Allen. And here's the thing: if Singleton can get out of his own head, Singleton and Allen can still be a dynamic duo. It's just Singleton has not been himself. We saw glimpses of him be great against Ohio State. Like we saw some of that, and it was only on a couple plays, but we saw him. We saw the old Singleton on a few plays in that game, and that gives me hope that maybe he is starting to reemerge.
Yeah, there's a lot of hope there. I don't think Nicholas Singleton's reemerging. As much
You
as
don't
I would
think
love to
so?
see it happen, I don't think so. Um, I
I still
think the
think I
biggest.
still think Kaytron Allen's better than Emmet
Yeah,
John.
no,
Though.
I hear you. I hear you, and I think that's why I asked on those two because I do think it's a two running back duel. As much as Nicholas Singleton can provide you some nice stuff, and he did. Which game was it? I think it was the Indiana game when he averaged like 6.5 yards per touch or something like that, which is
Yeah,
good, and that's what you want from Nicholas Singleton. I just don't think we've seen it consistently enough that I can rely on that. Now, that's the thing in this game is that Penn State, much better run
Mhm.
defense lately, allowed 108 yards to Indiana, 101 yards to Michigan State. Nebraska, their past two games, allowed 202 yards to USC and 157 yards at UCLA.
yeah.
If you're allowing UCLA to get 157 yards on the ground, and I know that's not just the UCLA running backs, it's Nico and everything else too. Nico's their leading rusher. Um, Lateef and Emmet Johnson together, or sorry, Kaytron Allen, and if Nicholas Singleton can get it together, I think that's a very dangerous combo if Nicholas Singleton can get it together. So that's why I think Penn State's going to win this game at home. Kaytron Allen, maybe he's not the better back. I do think that's still a question, but I do think he's the more reliable back, picking up first downs and keeping the offense moving and stuff like that. And I do not feel as good about Nebraska's rush defense as I do about Penn State's rush defense. And
Yeah.
but TJ Lateef does scare me, We saw what Nico
Yep.
Iamaleava did to this Penn State defense. So what does Jim Knowles does Jim Knowles spy him? I don't know. I think there's a lot
Don't
up in
be
the
an
air about this
idiot.
game. Yeah,
Don't
well,
be stupid.
keep it simple,
That's
stupid.
yes. Yes. I the thing I'll say, and maybe this is part of the running back conversation, is I think early on, James Franklin and Andy Kotelnicki just really tried to force Singleton when he was pressing. And Kaytron Allen, he is not the best running back like in the country. Like he's not. But he is
But he's
the
reliable.
he's reliable and he gets better as the game goes. And so last week, 25 carries, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think if Kaytron Allen gets 25 carries, Penn State wins.
And I think he will. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
look at this Penn State team. Let me just look at the stats for. Oh, why is it not coming up? I can't pull up the individual stats.
Yeah.
That's lame. Anyway,
Yeah.
you,
What?
you look at Kaytron Allen this season. He's just been the workhorse for this Penn State
Yeah.
team each and every game. Grunkemeyer has been better. I think he had 13 passes last game. He was like 8 for 13 and had 2 touchdown passes. They're passing the ball down the field more, and I think as long as you continue to get that, you're going to see this Penn State team get the win in this one. I think TJ Lateef is the X factor if he can do some things with his legs. If he remains basically one look and then take off and keeps doing that well, but I think Nebraska would have a better chance in this game with Lateef if Penn State had not seen them yet. But Penn State saw them against
Yep.
UCLA, and I
That's a good
think
point.
Jim Knowles, as much as he struggled this season, he is still a good defensive coordinator. He's going to be ready. And if they can just find one linebacker, Amari Campbell, somebody, just one linebacker who can spy TJ Lateef, I think Penn State gets this one 27-20.
I got 24-20.
Yeah. So right there.
Yep.
Pretty close.